the rules for your quiz 5, which is in class course book, probably the last 15 minutes of the class on Tuesday. Anybody remember when you have the same base and they are multiplying together, you add the exponents. Like if you have 2 here and 3 here, you just combine the exponents, right? How about same base dividing? You subtract the exponents, and then anything raised to 0 power is going to give me what? A 1. And then if you have a negative exponent and you want to turn that into a positive exponent, then you do what? Put 1 over, and at the denominator we're going to have a raised to m. Okay, if you have an exponent outside, then what do? You distribute in each one of them, so it's going to be a, m, b, m. I think I'm missing one. So if you have that, same thing, right? If there's no add and subtract in between, you do distribute the exponents. I'm missing the one look like this, gh. If you have a, m raised to an n outside, then you do what? For h, yeah, you multiply this together. So this seems to be easily confused with the first one. The first one is same base multiplying, you add the exponents, right? How about g? How would you change that to a radical? What go inside? A along with the power, right? The power part, right? And then the root number go to outside, like that. Are we okay with the rule? Like if not, like use the review that I gave you for in class quiz 5. It has question and also have the solution at the bottom, right? Okay, so last time we talked about if you have log base ax, if they match, what do? You cancel out, just equal to x, right? So if we have log base 5 and a 25 here, you can rewrite the 25 as log base 5 to the second power. When they match, we are going to cancel it, so the answer is 2. Okay, so this is one of the property that you're going to need to know. Log base ax, when they match, you can cancel that part, just equal to x. We also will ask you to write the log form in words. What is the log form in words? It's going to be log base answer equal to exponents. Very good. All right, so this is actually the answer on the quiz. Okay, I need you to know the form in words, and then the exponential form in words is going to start with base x raised to a little exponent here equal to answer. So if you have a hard time remembering, just write down something you know, like 5 raised to the second power equal to 25. That's your base, exponents, answer, right? And when we rewrite that as log form, it's going to be log, the base is 5, answer is 25, equal to exponents is 2, and we just check that's correct, right? Those are the facts. Some of the quiz question will ask you to change a log form to an exponential form. So this is log base answer equal to exponents, and you need to turn that into this form, right? The base first. Which one is your base? 7 is your base. Raised to, which one is your exponent? Okay, this is log, right? This is your base, right? This is your answer, right? This is your exponent, right? Now I need to turn that into base, exponents, answer form. So you told me the base is 7, which I agree. The exponents part should be b equal to the answer part is a. Are we okay? Just moving stuff around, but you need to remember this too, right? In order to use the form, right? And then this guy is in exponential form. This is your base, exponents, answer. Need to turn into this form, right? So start with log, your base is c, answer y equal to exponents is 8. So make sure you know this too, okay? You can write that out and use it to follow. Okay, if they give you a basic one like this and ask you to evaluate, we can use this property that we know, right? If we can somehow write this as log base 7, 7 ways to some power, that's going to help me, right? I know 49 can be broken down as 7 times 7. So the first step, I can just replace the 49 with 7 to the second power. But this is 1 over, right? When you have 1 over, what kind of exponent is this? A negative exponent. So it's going to be log base 7, 7 raised to, not 2, but negative 2. When they match, I can cancel it. So the answer is negative 2. So you have similar question on the yellow review. Make sure you practice that. And we also talk about the 2 formula for compound interest last time, right? So let's do that quickly to review that part. You have 2 formula. One is A equal to P1 plus R over NNT. The other one is A equal to PERT, P-E-R-T. When do you use each? The first one is compounding, and the PERT is compounding what? The last one is what? Continuously. So compounding continuously will be PERT. But the first one is compounding a few times a year. And last time we talked about what kind of compounding we have. It can be annually, means once a year, semi-annually, twice a year, every 6 months, right? Like semi-annual sales, quarterly, 4 times a year, and monthly, 12, and weekly, 52, if daily, 365. Those would be using the first one. But if you see continuously, then you use the second one, right? So let's do 2 very quickly. Say if you put in $1,000 and then for 2 years, the interest rate is 2.5% compounded quarterly. That's the question. Then which formula should I use? Quarterly. The first one, right? Because it's several times a year. So I'm going to need to plug it in like this. Do we know A? A is how much money you have after T years, right? We talked about it last time, so we don't know that. How about P? Your principal is $8,000. And then 1 plus, what is R again? R is your interest, but need to be in decimal number. So if it's 2.5% for your R, then you turn that into decimal number, meaning 2.5 need to be divided by 100 per percent, mean per 100, right? So that would turn that into 0.025, is that correct? Divided by 100. So 0.025 over N. N is what? Quarterly. So N is quarterly, mean N is quarterly, mean how many times? 4 times a year. Ways to N is 4 times a year for how many years? 2 years. So T is 2 years, right? So I'm doing this pretty quickly because we spread out and do all the terminology and explanation last time. So if you missed that class, please use your videos and take notes. So you're going to need a calculator for that. So make sure you know how to plug that into your calculator. Some people can do the whole thing in one step. If not, you can do the inside part first. Just make sure you don't round until the last step. 0.025 divided by 4, adding a 1. And then this thing need to raise to what power? 4 times 2 is going to be 8. Raised to the 8th power, and then times 1,000, right? Okay, what do we get? $1,051.11 after you round to 2 decimal places, right? So if you missed the class, make sure you use the lessons and review that. The next one I am going to give you also, let's do 2,000 because sometimes they change the number for you. I want you to pay attention. For 6.5 years, the interest rate is 3% compounded continuously. I know this is going to use the PERT formula because it say what? continuously. So I'm going to need to plug it in. Do we know A, the money you have after T years? No. The principal is 2,000, and then E is E on your calculator. R is good. You need to turn that into decimal, right? So it's 3 over 100 or 0.03 for the decimal number times how many years? 6.5 would be easier to plug in, right? So T equal to 6.5 years. For me, I will do the exponent part first. So if you have 0.03 times 6.5, then that decimal number is 0.195. Where is my E? E is on top of ln. So it's the one, E is a natural number, is related to the natural log. So I can do, for me, is shift and then ln. So I get this, right? And I put 0.195 like that. And this number, don't round this, need to multiply to my 2,000, right? What do we get? That sounds good. $2,430.62. Okay, so make sure you know how to use your calculator, okay? So this tool is relatively straightforward. You just need to pick the correct formula, know how to plug it in, know how to use the calculator. We want you to get all those points, okay? We reviewed it, a whole lot of that reviews from the yellow page. Questions similar to everything up to number 6, but number 7 and 8, we're going to cover those today, okay? First one is a product rule. If you have a product rule, basically the log multiplying to each other, the multiplication is going to turn into addition, just like the exponents rule, okay? And then it will break into 2 terms, log base A, adding another log base A. The first term will come with M, second term will come with N. Similar to your regular exponents rule, when you have same base multiplying, you add those exponents, right? So it's the same concept. And if that's the case, how do we do the ln one? It's going to be multiplication, it's going to turn into additions, and then we're going to break them into 2 terms. Both terms come with ln. The first one come with U, second one come with V. Okay, the second one is a division. So think about your exponents rule. Division is going to turn into subtraction. So it's going to have 2 terms. Both of them have log base A. This is subtracting. The first term come with M. Second term come with N. So apply the same logic with the ln. Division turn into subtraction. So we will have what? ln of U minus ln of V. Alright, the last one is a little bit newer. So it has an exponent, and that exponent is going to go to the front of the log. So basically the exponent is going to turn into coefficient. Exponents turn into coefficients, so the R go to the front, and then we have log base A, and then an M here. Are we okay? And then we have another one here, so same concept, the exponents become coefficients. We will start with what? A V and then ln U. Go into the example, let me do some similar to your quiz, so it can be a review for the quiz. One type of question, they will ask you to write the expression as the sum or difference of the log. Turn that into sum or difference of the logs, and basically you're expanding it. Okay, so you will see that on the quiz on Tuesday 1, I'm going to have log base 5 L M second. So this look like is multiplication. It's going to turn into what? Additions. Okay, so how many terms do we have? 2 terms. Both of them should come with log base 5, right? Log base 5. And then add the 2 together. The first term come with L. Second term come with m squared. So it's almost done, but there is an exponent here. Exponents need to turn into, what's the third rule? Exponent need to turn into coefficient. Where does the 2 go? The front of which term? Which one? The m, right? Just this particular term, right? So we're going to have log base 5 L plus 2 log base 5m. Are we okay? We can do another one. We have ln of g to the second power square root of 3. We are still expanding and we see divisions. Division is going to turn into subtractions. Okay, so how many terms? 2 terms. First term is ln of g squared. And then the second term would be square root of 3, right? And division becomes subtraction like this, right? I know these 2 need to go to become coefficient of the terms, so go here. But what is this? Square root. A square root is going to be what kind of exponent? A fraction exponent, ln 3 raised to what? I don't see an exponent here, means 1. The root number is 2, is understood, right? So this exponent is going to be 1 over 2. That's the power part, that's the root number, right? This is also an exponent, so it needs to become coefficient also. This is going to be 2 ln of g minus 1/2 ln of 3. You will have that on the quiz, so I will encourage you to do some of the homework. The other type is doing the opposite. So earlier we are expanding the log, and then we need to condense the log to a single log, meaning your answer should only have 1 terms, okay? So the first one, we can have a number log A adding 1/3 log B. We're doing the opposite rule, right? So if we see a coefficient, it will turn into what? Exponent. If we see addition, we will turn that into multiplication. If we see subtraction, it will turn into division. So just reverse those 3 rules. Do we have coefficients? Yes. Okay, the 5 go where? 5 go to A, and then 1/3 go to B. Okay, so let's do that first. Log base A to the 5th plus log base B raised to 1/3 power. And the 1/3 power can be rewritten as what? What kind of roots? Key roots. The power is 1, right? But the root number is 3, right? Like that. And then the addition is going to turn into multiplication. How many log do we have now? They ask for single logs. So just 1 log. I need to multiply them together, right? What am I multiplying? A to the 5th and then cube root of B. That's all. So your answer should be just 1 log, right? And the last one we have here, we got a 2 ln of B minus 5 ln of A plus C. First, we see coefficients will turn into exponents, like here and here. Ln of B to the second power, subtracting ln of A plus C raised to the 5th power. Okay, and then subtraction is going to turn into division. We are going to have how many ln? Just 1 single log, right? And then dividing, right? What go to the top? B squared. At the bottom, we have the whole A plus C in parentheses raised to the 5th power. One of the common mistakes is people write this, ln of B squared divided by ln of A plus C to the 5th power. Why is that not correct? That is not a single log, okay? So don't do that. That happens a lot, actually. Are we okay? So your quiz also will have some question like that.